Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. Star Citizen Alpha 4.1 is really close to a release candidate. It's really close to being released. In fact, it should be going live later this week. However, I do want to talk about it and talk about the sort of state of the game. There are some concerns I have with the patch. And it's 4.1. It's effectively the first major build we've had this year. And the first major one since we've had the monthly release sort of cadence of their patches. It being a proper 4.x patch rather than a 4.0.x or whatever. But some of its major features and some of its issues are a bit of a cause for concern. So I was looking through the sort of known issues and problems that the patch was having. So some issues as well have recently been removed but not fixed, potentially. So they sort of disabled handyman missions around Pyro and multiple locations for courier missions. They were having that odd server issue with bandwidth in, causing issues, basically 30Ks for people not connecting to the server properly or disconnecting randomly. The patch is a really big mining patch as well. The sort of event's called Align and Mine. There's some new mining vehicles with the Atlas Geo, the sort of mech. Oh, this is really cool, actually. So you've got the Atlas Geo, and it's a mining version of the ATLS, which is great. Cool little mining mech. Best thing about it is not that it's a miner, it's the fact it could use jump jets. And I really like jump jets and this sort of stuff. It gives you a little jump boost that you can use to move around caves and terrain and stuff, and it recharges pretty quick. It doesn't have a huge amount of fuel, but recharges really quickly, so you can keep on using it. And jump jets like this is how I foresee a lot of the game going when it's like looking at surviving when ejecting from a ship in atmosphere and stuff like that, ways of surviving when you hit the ground, because you can have little jump jets on your ejection seat or just temporary ones as part of your EVA suit or something. Also, I really want a combat version of the ATLS suit, so like a Prometheus or something, call it something that's shooty. I suspect we'll get that in the not too distant future. There's also the Drake Golem, which is going to be in that patch, which is a starting very, very, very small mining ship. And I really want to see sort of starter ships for pretty much every role in Star Citizen. So you could potentially have a tutorial in them almost. You go, oh, the first time you do a mission for mining or whatever, as you move into that role of that career, or as you get a ship to try out for that role, you have a starting ship that you can do those missions in, that's cheap and easy to get into and use, but also gives you all the basics that you would want to know for that mechanic. Now, those vehicles, they don't really add any new mechanics to the game other than the jump jets. And I suppose you already have like movement in space with EVA, so maybe it's not going to cause that many problems, but I suspect these things are going to get into places where CIG weren't expecting. So are they going to be ready for the initial release of 4.1? Do they need more testing? But yeah, I'm not sure if the sort of mining cargo pods are working properly, being removable and being put back on some of the mining ships, and then being sort of registered properly in cargo elevators. Jump points were having issues as well still, so most annoyingly with asteroids intersecting with them and then potentially causing you to crash. You can avoid them, but if you're not expecting them and they shouldn't be there, that can be quite upsetting. So I've also found that performance is down for me in 4.1 as well. So I moved over from a GeForce 3080 to a AMD 9070 XT, and I actually got some reasonably good sort of gains in 4K with Star Citizen, but I lose about 10 FPS from 4.0.2 going to 4.1 at the moment, but I suspect there's going to be some significant optimizations with Star Citizen in the future. Could also be that I'm losing frame rate because of additional logging and stuff that they sometimes have in these PTU patches. So there are going to be problems with some people being annoyed that the Fight for Pyro and Supply or Die events are ending before they were able to complete them, due to, with some people, or I'm not sure the sort of amount of people, but for some people they are finding them too buggy, either with spawning some of the objectives or being able to complete it, or once they complete all the objectives and stuff, stuff continuing, or not giving feedback when you've actually completed the missions. So as soon as 4.1 goes live, it looks like that Supply or Die and Fight for Pyro, they'll be ending properly, and it will be Line and Mine as the new event. And there's just so much going on with that event, with the Valakar, the sandworms, the big orbital laser, those caves, new minables, the new vault weapons, the Hathor facilities and stuff. There is a lot that can go wrong. They've done a lot of testing, and admittedly it's not like, for the most part, not these massive new super game-changing features, but there's a lot that can go wrong with these little things, and with like the Valakar, which they can do silly stuff. I've seen people throw tables at them, and the worms sort of try and burrow under the table and be on top of the table with sand around it and stuff. There's lots of weird stuff that can happen. I'm sort of concerned about how PvP and the intention of those Hathor facilities as well, and that sort of Align or Mine set of missions, because it's in the Stanton system. It's meant to be a bit more PvE for the most part than sort of Pyro Wild West PvP, but that's not to say it's going to be entirely PvE, and those missions can get quite chaotic on the ground. And the more annoying thing is that when you are there, you do not know who's a threat or not, and you might get shot by someone, you retaliate, you get a crime stat. That's not great. Something that's a bit more of a double-edged sword, and probably the most controversial thing in 4.1 is item recovery. So this is the tier 0 of something that might be getting its tier 1 and tier 2 implementation pretty soon. We're not really sure on the timescale for it. It could be within months, it could be by the end of the year, it could be next year. We don't really know, but tier 0 implementation of item recovery basically means equipped items, so weapon, armor for the most part, fuse to your body when you respawn, and you respawn with those items. So you cannot, those items can't be looted from you. Your backpack can still be looted. Some stuff can still be taken from you, but not the stuff that was in your hands and equipped to you and your armor. That also means that potentially people will be zerging out of medbays from their ship because they can, with their gear attached, ready to go again. So that's great for certain things, especially with an alpha game where you want to get back in the action. You might have went down to a bug or something weird. Oh, I just want to play Star Citizen and not faff around with this sort of stuff. Bam, straight back into the action. Great. And if you want a more sort of arcadey PvP experience, again, that's probably good for you as well. But not being able to push players out of an area very easily anymore, and not being able to loot them in the same sort of way either, is going to cause some players, especially PvPers that want that kind of gameplay, to not have a great experience in the short term. That is until the sort of tier 1 and tier 2 implementations, which expand out exactly what's happening, and you can still loot that stuff and sell it, and even potentially get it working again, because they have the idea of that you will go, oh, I'm gonna sort of insure this item, but when I claim it back, it bricks the original item that's been looted. That can still be sold, but people can still get it working if they want. I did see CIG as well testing out different mesh configurations for their servers and the game mesh. So they were like, they had been running originally in 4.0 5.5, so 5 servers for Stanton, 5 for Pyro, and then 500 or 600 player limits on the mesh. So they were trying out 4.6, so 4 for Stanton and 6 for Pyro through the earlier stages of the PTU, and they've just started trying out 7.3, so 7 for Stanton and 3 for Pyro, and then having Aberdeen and Daymar in Stanton actually basically run off their own servers as part of those 7 in Stanton. So some interesting stuff going on there. It'd be great if they can get sort of performance up, and even Vulcan sort of in a little bit of a better state before they get 4.1 out and live. Some of the weird stuff happening with like the Wicklow banner collector missions, the items sort of getting duplicated in the freight elevators there. If they can fix that, that'd be great. And I think there's problems with like, I think party members are still not appearing sometimes on the star map and minimap. Really looking forward to seeing what Banu collector mission rewards we're going to get in the live build as well, because basically they've got these Banu Emporiums. So Wicklow, the Banu collector, is basically going, do missions for me, go collect some cool stuff for me, maybe collect some special new ores that appear around the verse and in those Align and Mine missions that you can sort of expose, and then you can get really great rewards and potentially like fantastic military ship with like these military loadouts that are super rare or exclusive, and like even the stuff up to a Polaris, it looks like. But yeah, there's absolute tons of stuff in that patch, well beyond what we were talking about there. But those are sort of my concerns, and some of the things I'm excited about as well, I suppose. But I'm sort of interested to know what your experiences with 4.1 are at the moment. We're almost certainly going to get a couple more PT patches over the next few days, and then bam, sort of probably Thursday, Friday, they'll release 4.1 to live, but it could be sooner. We'll have to wait and see. What do you think? Are you excited for this patch as well? Do you think it's going to be awesome? Do you think it's going to be a disaster? Are you hoping something in particular that gets fixed that hasn't been fixed? Are you excited for that sort of ATLS Geo or the Drake Golem? Whatever your thoughts, I would love to hear from you in the comments below. And a reason to comment below is every month we have a ship giveaway, and for March we are giving away a Super Hornet Mark II with Heartseeker kit, as well as lifetime insurance and a game package that was kindly given to us by CIG. Just comment on any of my videos made during March to be in for a chance of winning that. Something that might make you feel like a winner, some NordVPN. Use the links down below or go to nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. Oh, VPN. Well, I get better securities and privacies and accessibilities of the interwebs. Got Tobii Eye Tracker as well, which is on sale for the next few days. Links down below for that if you want some precision head and eye tracking in Star Citizen, and a load of other games as well. Or our affiliate links down below give us a little bit of a kickback and help support the channel, but they are products that I endorse and use, at least for the most part. Depends on what pages you go to, but if you'd like to further support the channel, you can also click the join button under my videos. That helps loads. You can like, share, subscribe, become a patron, all that sort of jazz. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments below, and I will see you in the verse.